So again, we are recording. If you don't want your name or picture shown, feel free to change that, but we are recording. Welcome to the member circle for October 17th, 2023. Jesse will be speaking on the essential elements of a good introduction for books and how important that is, because without a good introduction, your people will close the book. Will they not? Good cover, right? Good back cover, copy, and a good introduction. Those are all very key. So I'm
And it
excited to
will work
hear what he
for
has to say.
fiction too. It'll work for fiction too. So if you guys are
Okay.
fiction writers or memoir, then you're not left out. But it is aimed for nonfiction. But you guys will it'll benefit you as well.
Well, and technically, if we're writing, actively, right, we still want to know these elements for whatever genre we write. So, but welcome, we're glad. And then Amy's here as well. So we have Donna who's going to open us in prayer tonight and just put blessings over this whole thing. And Donna, pray that maybe some more people are on their way and haven't joined us yet. We appreciate you. Let's pray.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we just thank and bless you for who you are, for how you have come into each of our lives, that you have created us a desire to share your word, share your love, share your story of salvation with others, not only in our own communities, but around the world. And we ask that you would be with Jesse now as he leads us and teaches us, and whatever words, Holy Spirit, that you give him, may it plant seeds in our life, in our writing journey, that we can proclaim you with everything we have and are. In your holy name, amen.
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 Thank you,
That was
Donna.
beautiful. Thank you, Donna. So appreciate you and all you do. All right, Jesse, take it away.
All right. Well, hello everybody. I will.
Oops,
Yeah.
let me say one more thing. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
If you guys would all mute yourself, that helps any background noise so that everybody can hear clearly. If your dog barks or your husband comes in or whatever. So mute yourself and that will help with that. Thank you.
Yeah, but feel free to unmute yourself whenever you want to talk up, especially if we have a small group today. I'd love to kind of just have you cut me off in the middle and just kind of ask questions or give comments. This is like the beautiful thing about these member circles. You want them to be be interactive in a lot of ways. You can keep your cameras off if you want to and not interact even when we do breakout rooms. There is going to be a few breakout rooms, but if you can keep your cameras off all the way through, or you can interact and be a part of it. So we want you to all just kind of just be as interactive as possible. So okay, so I'm just curious, just who here, maybe just raise your hand, or kind of who here is writing kind of a non-fiction book, just kind of getting a gauge of, which is basically you're writing. So Helen is writing a non-fiction. Julie's clapping her hands. I don't know if that's necessarily non-fiction or not, but so everyone else, raise your hand if you're writing a fiction book. So Donna, Amy, Karen, Clint, and Kathleen. Okay, so we're good. We definitely are heavy. So which I think is going to be good too. I mean, is if those of you who are Don's writing fiction, good. So those of you who are writing fiction, are you ever maybe put in your chat, like if you're ever considering writing a blog or any kind of nonfiction piece. I guess you can just write in the chat or raise your hand if you are considering kind of writing some kind of thing. Yeah, Donna says yes, Clint says yes. Okay. Well, cool. Yeah. So this, like I said, this is going to benefit for, all of us. And I'll get to it, but yeah, it's, even if you're writing fiction, there's going to be a grain of a truth in your fiction as well. So knowing kind of your audience and knowing kind of your, all these elements will still benefit you. So it's not going to be a loss, but it is, I'm just being honest, it is a bit more focused on nonfiction. So here I am. This is me. You guys can see the thing here. Yeah, I'm trying to get the actual the actual sharing the screen to work correctly. Can everyone see it? Yes, Amy says yes. Good. Okay, so I'm Jesse. You probably know me by now. I have a business. I help support authors. My business is called Above the Sun. I think that we are, seated in heavenly places, and that God loves us, and that we have just a lot of ideas from God to download into Earth. And so my goal is to really just have people be inspired and get their truth down onto this planet. So that's my passion. Here is my question. So if you could guys put in the chat, who here, just visualize yourself being in a pitch meeting and pitching your book, and an agent asked you or a publisher asked you what your book's about. This is the thing that kind of can cause fear amongst a lot of us, I bet. So I just want you to take some time right now and just put in the chat, just briefly pitch what your book is about. I want you to write what, even in one sentence, or as long as you can. An agent comes and says, what's your book about? Please clearly share that with me. I'm trying to actually open up so I can see the chat. I don't know if I can see the chat. Here we go. You can see the chat. Okay. So Karen, I want to blog and write devotions. So if you guys can put in the chat what your book's about. Like mine. So there we go. True Christmas stories to celebrate this season. That's awesome. Kathleen, personal identity, value, and purpose. It's a theme. Very cool. Julia, one nonfiction for young life regarding miracles that occurred while developing the largest young life camp. Very cool. A young princess must go into a frightening world to try to save her land from an evil prince and the wizard who empowers him. Very cool. So I'm just messing around with all my windows here. Whenever you present, all your windows gets all funky. It's kind of funny. Okay, so if you're like me, basically clearly defining what your book's about is very challenging. And so this is what the class is going to be about, is just trying to go through all the elements of what your book's about and how to clearly define it. So here is the elements. And we'll go through each one of these really deeply, and we'll have a lot of breakout sessions to go through these. Oh yeah, here we go. Kelly's on. Cool. Retelling Noah's story from the point of view of a daughter-in-law. I love that idea. So here we go. These are the elements. We're gonna go through each one of these, but the three basic elements is the concept, which is going to identify your idea, your big idea, and the lie and the truth. Then you have your authority, which is going to be kind of your experience. Why are you telling this story? And then also kind of a hook to kind of start the introduction off. And then the outcome, which is who you're writing for and the promise that you're making. And so this is what I said here. This is our goal for the class. And this is why this can actually be for both fiction and nonfiction, because every nonfiction has a clear narrative, needs a story, but also fiction, every fiction book needs some sort of truth. So you write for a reason. You want, even if you're trying to tell an epic Lord of the Rings story, it's that there's a reason for you writing it. You're trying to create some kind of truth into the world, I bet. So in even memoirs, and I wrote this down as a note, even if it's based around, your story, it's still going to be about your reader, what you're offering them, what that narrative you want to show them, what lie you want to confront. So any questions so far before we move on to the next step here? And if you can, Amy, look in the chat or raise people's hands. I can't really see everybody. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Or any comments right now, and I'll be willing to answer. Okay, I think we're good. Cool. All right, so let's go to the first part, which is the concept. So this is what we're going to start with, the lie. So any good book is going to confront there's some kind of lie in the world. So I want you to think about this. So it's easy to think about this in a nonfiction that like, hey, I want to come against a religiosity, or I want to change theology, I want to change something. But even if you are thinking fiction, your character is going to have some kind of thing that happened to them, some kind of pain from their past, and they're going to come against some lie that they believe. So I want you to write down, take some time to think about what lie that you are confronting in your book. What is the main lie your audience might believe about themselves or about the world around them? Or for fiction, what's the main lie that your character believes about themselves and about their world? It could be the dark moment, specific event in which they have a seed of fear or unforgiveness or bitterness that take place. And so when you're done, write it in the chat, just put done. When you have that, when you have an idea of the lie. And also write in the chat if you have any questions. Or raise your hand and unmute yourself. I'd love to hear you too. Karen's done. Good. Well, character believes there's no way out of fear. Character thinks he or she is significant. It's good. Alan is done. It is unlovable. Yeah. I want to go a little bit deeper too. Why? What's up? Like, she's unlovable. Yeah. Why? And even insignificant. Why? Jonathan wants revenge for his parents' death. What's a lie in that? Okay, good. Now since we have the lie, and we'll have some time to break out to talk more about this in the breakout sessions. So let's go on to the next one, and this is obviously the truth. So if you take the lie that the world believes, or the lie that your character believes, now this is you trying to challenge that lie in some way. So what is the view of the world, or the view of the character, and how are you going to offer a fresh new perspective to that? So for nonfiction, it could be, what have you come to believe that is different than what you once did? Or for fiction, is what would your character overcome and believe after finishing? So it's kind of like this idea that like the world believes this, or my character believes this, but I believe this, and my guide believes this, and they're trying to share this kind of truth, and ultimately is going to be your reader. Like you're trying to offer something, some nugget of truth, even in a fictional story. So if you get it, write it down in the chat, or just put done. You can either write down what you think your truth is, and or just put done in the chat as well. That'd be good. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to jump on. Chili's done. Gotchi's Ada and Sutter side to be married. No, it's son to be on the fine. Very good. Karen's done. Discovery that she is not only valuable but powerful. I love that. She has what it takes. Cool. All right. Now we're going to go on to the next piece. This is the third part of this element. The ultimate idea. So this is kind of the cultivation of the lie and the truth together. Give me 1 second. My computer is taking, there we go. So now escalate this to the ultimate main point in the book. So this is a brief overview of the substance that you're going to be sharing in your book, like the ultimate truth and the ultimate idea that you're showing in your book. This is where, if it's an introduction in a nonfiction, you would be writing about a paragraph of the meat, the kind of the concept that you'd be exploring in the book and why it's important. So for nonfiction, it's like the main truth that your whole book revolves around, the epic idea. And for fiction, it could be something like the main thing your character will overcome. Like what would they try to, like what for me, one of the things that I love, this is a lot of times your theme as well. And so if you've done your theme with me, I love Lord of the Rings. And so, I know it's a fiction book in some ways, but like the main epic concept of that for me, I think that if I was to write an epic book like Lord of the Rings, I'd be like, you know what, we all need each other. Like every person is significant. Frodo carried the ring, but it's like everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a role. And so for me, the lie could have been like, well, you don't have what it takes, that you're insignificant, and that you're overlooked. But the truth is that everybody has a role to play, and you're needed. You're an incredible needed part of this journey. So if you can write in the chat kind of what you think, it could be similar to your theme, to your truth, but take it a bit further if possible. Like, what would be the ultimate idea? And write it in the chat if you could. Or just put done. You could just put done too. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna go into a breakout room. Are we ready, Julie, to do the first breakout room? I think you're muted.
It would help if I unmute, right?
Yeah.
We only will have three rooms, and one of the rooms will have an extra person in it. But yes, I am ready, I think.
Cool. So what we're going to do in the breakout rooms is, let me go ahead and move it to that slide here. So this is the first part, of the three we're going to go through. So I want you to share with your partner. We're going to have about 7 minutes. And if you have three, you're gonna make, do all three. And again, if your camera's off, that's fine. You don't have to turn your camera on. You can keep it off because there'd be more than 2 people in each room. So we're gonna go and just share with your people your lie, pretty much like everyone believes or my character believes. And also, and even if it's fiction, think about your reader. Think about what your reader would believe. It's like, yes, it's your character, but really your reader's gonna receive something from this book as well. So if at all possible, they believe, like for Lord of the Rings, people may believe they're insignificant. They believe they're overlooked, but I believe everyone is special. And that's the truth. And you're sharing. And so my main point of the book is this. The main point of the book is that everyone is essential. No one is overlooked, and everyone is part of a family. So if you could do these 3 things, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss. Anybody have any questions before we go? Okay, I think that Julie is starting the
I went off. There were still people on the screen. I'm like, oh no, what did I do wrong? So anyway,
no,
my first
we're
time
all kind of learning.
organizing breakout. Really sorry about that.
You did
y'all.
great, Julie.
Thank you.
So good.
All
Okay,
right,
so
well, we've got some of it back.
oh yeah, we're not everyone back yet. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Next room is coming in. Yep. There we
Yeah,
go.
they were the stragglers. So how was that? Anybody want to share about the experience of just kind of sharing the first part there? I hear from somebody. Everyone's so quiet today.
It was
I
good.
thought Kelly had a very, in our room, had a very good grasp of the
Okay.
concept. Maybe she would want to share.
Sure. So I put down that the lie is that my main character is worthless and has no value. She does not deserve love and she can't trust. And I have the last one, Jesse, which is she's the most important woman probably in history as far as making it through and keeping, I mean, she had to keep everything alive, right? I mean,
Wow.
so God actually said, no, you have immense value.
hmm
And I've set you aside. And then what was the middle component again?
Oh, the truth. Yeah. The truth and the big idea is similar. But yeah.
And it's her just stepping into it. And
Mhm.
basically through the first book, she's starting to be able to compare and contrast what people that don't treat her well and people that do. And she's starting to get her voice.
And so I'm curious, I mean, this may help everyone with write fiction, is that what, just asking you directly, Kelly, that it's just, if you're okay, do you want, like, what do you want your reader to take away from that? Not just the character, but the reader.
Well, ultimately, I want them to understand that the Noah's Ark story is not just a story, that there were actually human beings that had human experiences on there, and that they had to emotionally just go through the loss of everything and have a big reason why they went. And the main reason why my character got on board is that so she could tell the story of her loved ones that died, like that she could move the story forward.
Yeah. So that what, like, and this is good because this is plot focused, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. What this is your plot, but what would be like the component that your reader will be the felt emotional what they will receive from reading this book?
That they understand that they have value and that they can move. Maybe in their own life, they have people that are putting them down or telling them they can't dream. Because my character goes from basically being a slave to being able to move into dreaming and thinking about the future.
Good.
And that was not anything she could ever do.
Good. Well done. That's exactly it. Anybody else want to share? Because that's perfect. Well done, Kelly. I promise I won't grill you as much as I grilled Kelly. She can handle it. So if you want to share,
Can I ask a question,
Yeah.
Jesse? I'm assuming that the lie and the purpose, the beginning needs to correlate to the end, right? I mean, whatever lie we all believe or the character believes or people that are reading the book believe, right? It has to be correlated to the point where, even if it's not fiction, it's still story based, therefore there's still conflict, right? And that conflict is the fact that people believe this when they actually probably should believe this instead. Is that accurate?
That's
Stating that?
exactly.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to get down to. I'll be honest, it's more challenging with fiction. It's way easier with nonfiction, but I'm trying to on the spot modify it because I more predominantly you are fiction. But like really, it's your character's going through a journey, but ultimately your reader is going through that same journey. I write fiction too, and it's so interesting that people like email me and say, "Hey, your book, it made me feel like this, and I'm healed, and I God did this in my life." I'm like, I made that up, and they're getting healed. And it's like
Don't get a big head.
yeah, exactly. It's so humble. It's funny because like people say, your book made me cry. I'm like, well, that's why I do what I do. But it's like, yeah, because we can make things up, but it still has that truth. to it. It's still going to provide something to them. That's what we're trying to get at, is this kind of like the lie is like, yeah, like something like I there's like in our book it's like there's I'm lovable, but the truth is there's no place too dark for love not to reach. And
Amen.
ultimately, yeah. And so that's kind of the ideas that we're doing with our fiction. So
Cool. Okay.
anybody else want to share before we move on to the next part? This is good. Thumbs up, everybody. Is it good? We're having a good time. Good. Okay, let me share again. And we're gonna have more time to share at the end. So hope you guys be less shy. Then okay. So next is going to be. See, I'm having a hard time with this whole presentation mode. All right. I was going to want to move that. Here we go. Part 2, authority. So now we're going into why you. So it's like, okay, so you have essentially, you're telling the lie and the truth, but why do I want to listen to you about this truth? So what about, I'm going to go ahead and think about why are you called to write this book? What experiences do you have that relate to this? And you can use personal credentials on this. You can use prior experience. Don't get caught up. You don't have to necessarily have a degree, or just write down why, based on your experience in life, based on what you've went through, based on your own interest, your experiences help you see this in a better way, or you're compelled to write this because of a reason. Let's write that down. And this is good too, even if you don't write an introduction in your fiction book, it's still good. These are good for letters to readers at the end of the book. This is like, in the end of my book, I have, well, this is why I wrote this book. This is what I want you to get out of this. This is why, this is what I went through. So either author notes and letters to readers, these are also really good components of those too. So Kelly is done. When you're done, go ahead and write in the chat done. I can know to move on. Wish I would have realized how much was in the Bible to teach me about how to get through the teen years. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So write in the chat when you're done with the authority piece here. Dawn is done. And don't overthink it too. Sometimes your authority is, hey, I felt this way. Yeah, I felt insignificant until God showed me who I am and what I carry. Exactly. That experience, that moment, and we'll get to that. The next part is spoiler. The next part is a story about this, like a moment. So for those of you who are done, think about a story to represent this.
In my own life, Jesse, what I've realized is God puts me in really sticky situations that I have to do really hard things and have hard conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps coming up time and time again, like being able to do hard things.
Yeah, you're doing hard things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, you have experience. So good. So now, yeah, exactly what Kelly said. Now it's like, now I want you to just write into this. Write a story, and you don't have to do it right now, but think about a time in your life, or I think that's something that happened to you that illustrates this main truth, as well as kind of your authority of that. So, for me, I could say, since one of my themes, is belonging and I love family. I could say that, hey, I grew up, I say I've been only child of 17 siblings, which is kind of a funny joke, but I basically have all these people, all these I was adopted into many families, but yet I also kind of grew up alone. And so that's part of my authority, is that I felt abandoned, I felt alone, but yet I learned how to build community around it. And so a story of mine is that, yeah, I moved in with a family. I was adopted in there, and they showed me love. They showed me how to be a family. And so if I was to write a book on belonging, or tell somebody, let's say it's fiction, I could say that, hey, I'm no stranger to abandonment, and I want my reader to feel like that they're taken care of, and here's my story. I was adopted into this family, and so tell a story to kind of illustrate why what gives you the authority to do on the subject. And if you could write in the chat, done, when you're ready. Aaron is done. We're going to take probably about another minute or so, and we'll go into another breakout room. You don't have to share your personal story, if you can, if you want to, but I just want you to take some time to share about these two things, about your authority. We have new people entering too. So hey, Susan, welcome. We're doing I'm going to assign you to, we're going to go into breakout room pretty soon, so I'm going to assign you to one of these rooms here, and they'll tell you what's going on. We're talking about a lie and a truth, that and then also this part is why you believe, what gives you the authority to write on this. So might be a little bit lost, but hopefully your breakout room people can explain.
I got it. I put her in room 1.
Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and go. We'll do 6 minutes this time, so come back, we'll come back at 9:50. Or sorry, 6:50. I'm in the East Coast, so.
There we go, y'all. We're getting smooth at this. Woohoo!
We're banging on all cylinders
Good
now.
job, everybody.
Okay, so anybody want to share about your experience? And yeah, my room was amazing. People were getting vulnerable, and I really appreciate that. So I didn't say anything, 'cause I was kind of a fly on the wall, but I really appreciate that, Donna and Karen. I really appreciate you sharing. So anybody have any thoughts on this part of it, or questions?
I think
Maybe
ahead,
that maybe having authority in pain is actually okay, because it's going to help us be able to reach everybody else, because everybody is hiding their pain, trying to pretend that they don't have it. But if we're more vulnerable and talk about it, that makes them heal. And if they heal, then they can actually potentially be working on the purpose God has for them.
Absolutely. Well said.
I think I came to the realization that authority is it's God-given, and that, if you have a desire in your heart and a passion to write about a certain subject, God's given that to you, and there is some type of authority that you already have on that topic. So don't work so hard, because, I was like, I have authority on this topic for this book, but what about this book? That, don't work so hard to do that, because if God's given you that message, then obviously he's given you that authority to speak into that and to speak into people's lives, as you share your authority. Well, that was my ending thought on
Good
our
thought,
group.
Yeah, I was thinking that was very helpful, because, I really struggled with, trying to be sure that this is what he wants me to do, because I kept thinking, well, why me? This, who am I to do this? I don't have, like Julie said, all these credentials and, but yet he continues to give me ideas for books. He continues to have people make comments to me about certain things that, kind of reinforce the need, for good Christian books out there. And I think, okay, well, he wouldn't be sending those people my way or giving me these ideas if he didn't think, that I was capable of doing it, right? If he's going to call me to it, he's going to equip me for it, right? So anyway, that really helped me to feel more confident in what I'm doing, and not spend so much time doubting.
Awesome. Donna?
Jesse, I just want to bounce off what Kelly was saying, because for me, I think writing this book and going through the process is also healing for me. It's not just healing for those out there, but it's a process for me to work through the issue. And so creating more authority in my life, because I've been there, I've done that. I know exactly what's going on, and I can be healed as well as my readers. So
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Well said. Okay, we're gonna do the last part, and we're gonna go a little bit, we're going a little bit longer than I thought, but this has been good conversation, and so I'm really happy. So let's get into this last piece, since this last piece is going to be the outcome. So this is going to be your audience, and so first think about who are you writing to? The ideal reader. And so in a nonfiction, you'd be right, like you'd be saying, if you're looking for blank, then this book is for you. Fiction, same thing. If you're looking, to overcome, or you're looking for adventure, or you're looking for something, this book is for you. So think about, let me look at my notes here. Think about the one reader who you're writing for mentoring. What do they like? What do they need? And write it in a way that's they know it's for them. And when you're done, write in the chat that you are done. Or you can write your actual audience in the chat. And also try to go for like attributes, like instead of saying middle schoolers, think about like middle schoolers who who are being bullied, women who are in the workforce, like men who cut down trees and want a simpler life. I don't know, or women who cut down trees. Just think about like it's not necessarily always just a demographic, but also an emotional place. And the best thing that I always say this is that Harry Potter was written for 12-year-old boys who want adventure, and now everyone reads Harry Potter because hey, I sometimes really feel like a 12-year-old boy. Sometimes 6-year-old women feel like a 12-year-old boy sometimes who want adventure. So sometimes it's not always demographics, but think about your person that you're writing for. Write in the chat when you're done. Cool. Okay, we're going to go right on. While everyone else is finishing that, we're going to go right on to the last part. And this is the promise. So, what is the bold promise that you are making to your reader of what they will get out of this book, or what's at stake if, oh, that's a typo, if they don't read it. So basically saying after this reading this book, you will blank. This is kind of the preview of the coolest bits of your book, enticing them to read that first chapter. Like, sometimes is after reading this book, you will know God better. And make a bold statement because you believe in your book. And you can sometimes get away with it too by saying, "Dear reader, I pray that you find more of the Lord. I pray that you find adventure. I mean, you can kind of get away with that kind of thing, but you're still making a bold statement of what you want your reader to get away of when you're after reading this book. And write down when you're done. Cool. Okay, well, everyone else is finishing that. We're not going to do a breakout room this time, just for time. We want to have a little bit of time at the end. But so this is what the breakout room would have been, sharing your target audience who this is for, and what the promise is. But what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and put them all together now. And this is, again, this is mostly for, this is how a nonfiction introduction would really come together. And literally, you could just write exactly these 7 points back to back and have a fantastic introduction. But even right now, even if you're writing fiction, write these in this order and try to organize your pieces, with the first being the hook. Even if you need to rewrite it, go ahead and rewrite it. Just like getting some notes together. What is that story that that starts out, hey, I was abandoned when I was a kid, or I was adopted. Write that hook and then go right into the lie. Write down, everyone thinks this, and then go right into the truth, but I think this. Then you go into your authority and say, this is why you listen to me. I had this many years of experience in this. And then you go into your ultimate big idea, basically like, I believe that this book will do this for you. Then you go into your audience. If you like basket weaving and dancing, this book is for you. Then you end it with a promise. After reading this book, you will change the world. Whatever. And so I do want somebody to be bold enough to be able to share all 7 pieces when you're ready. So raise your hand if you have, or and just give it a go, give it a try whenever you're ready, or raise your hand. I'll pick somebody. Kathleen wants to give it a try.
Well, actually, I'm not doing that, but
okay.
I'm just wondering about the hook. Did we talk much about that?
It was the story. That sorry, it was kind of on the authority piece. It's like, okay. And that hook can be, it's the hardest, one of the hardest pieces actually, but it's really that thing that that you start out it's like it's you tell a story, like honestly, the best thing that I could come to mind is I don't know if you've read the John Bevere book, the Fear of the Lord. It's a fantastic book, but he starts out with like, he's like, hey, I was at a pastor's conference, and all the pastors were not paying attention, and then like God like blew in the room with a wind, and it shook everything. Like that's a story that sets off about the fear of the Lord, something that from your own life or from your own experience that would start it out.
Basically an attention getter right at the
exactly. And that could be, it could be statistics too. It could be, I mean, this you're open to this. This is just one idea for that open hook, but I wanted to kind of base off your authority, your experience.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You want to try to give it a go?
I can, I guess.
Who is that?
Karen.
Karen, okay, give it a go. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the sharing mode here.
Okay, so I'll be looking through my stuff here, but
And
okay.
and you can just give the note. You can just give overviews. Don't worry about going
Okay.
too deep. Yeah.
Okay, so the hook, I guess, for me is just that this book is about a middle school girl and how she gets through school with integrity and grace, and how she holds on to her faith through it all. The lie is that a lot of people believe is that you cannot be a Christian. It's hard to be a Christian in a public school, that you can't hold on to that. The truth is you can hold on to your faith in a public school setting if you are in the Word and you are praying and you have a good mentor or mentors. My authority on this is just I was a middle school girl who was a Christian, who didn't realize how much the Bible had to say about how to apply to everyday things. I raised 2 children. I worked out in the schools, so I saw the struggles that the kids are having, and I still work for a school district, and I hear about the struggles the kids are still having, which has gotten worse, not better. And what's the ultimate part? Ultimate main point is the Bible has wisdom to help us get through all of life's challenges.
See, you did a good job there. You did a line of truth, but then you escalated it up to the ultimate. So that's a perfect example. Well done.
And then the audience, my audience is middle school age kids. I'm hoping eventually to write one for more of a boy's perspective also at some point. But and then the audience would be, I guess I already talked about that. And then the promise is that when you are done reading this book, you should have more self-confidence and more tools to help you deal with conflict and the struggles of growing up.
Awesome. Well done, Karen.
So can I ask a question as far as I thought this was, if this is an element of a fiction chapter, right? So are you taking all of these things and trying to put it, or is this just the selling of your book, not the actual first chapter?
That was the previous thought I was going to teach on, but we shifted it to elements of an introduction. So that was the confusion. So sorry.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, I'm confused.
But I'll just give it to you right now. The elements of the fiction chapter, I guess I couldn't do that. Sorry, it'd be a different teaching. Yeah. So,
Jesse, you can save that for next time.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be good.
Okay, cool.
So,
well, go ahead.
Can I clarify? So then these things, this element of an intro is what you would see on the front of the book, the back of the book. It's your selling. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Selling of the story. Okay.
Yeah, or is the actual introduction, the introduction of your book. It's like even in a nonfiction book, it's the first right before chapter 1. It could be that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Susan,
and how does this change, Jesse? How does this change if your introduction is more of a story that pulls people into the rest of the book? Is it still important that these elements are somehow highlighted within the story, even like in a nonfiction project?
Say it again. In a nonfiction project.
So so let's say your introduction is really a prologue, of maybe previously this happened in this person's life when they were young, and then boom, the book starts as they're an adult, but you needed that background.
Oh, you're saying fiction?
The Lord was working. Nope, nonfiction. So for instance, the Young Life story I'm working with opens with when the gal who's 90 now is a little girl because an angel saved her from drowning. And literally later in the book, she sees that same angel. I mean, he's with her throughout her life. And so, I tell the story in the pool and then I end it with, but that was not the last time that she would see, this particular angel, so that people will get interested in the book. And so when I look at it, I see that some of these elements are addressed, but not all of them. And so when
I would
writing nonfiction in story form, does this change, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, I would start with that story as the hook for sure,
Uh-huh.
and then go
That's the
into
hook. Okay.
but give it like a 500 words of that story, but then go into the lie. It's like, why are you telling that story? Because
Right.
the lie is that God is not work in people's lives right now, but I say that he's still active and present, and here's my authority. So you can kind of add
Okay.
these different pieces together, right?
That
um
makes sense.
that makes sense, yeah.
Yep. Cool. Thanks.
You have a question, Susan?
No, I was gonna, can I blast through mine? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, because that's good. So are you guys okay with this? We do have one. Are you still open for a hot seat, Kelly? Are you good for that? Okay. So we have some
Yeah.
questions and answers later on today. We want to do a hot seat with Kelly, but I'm okay with just going through spending some time on this if you guys are okay with this as well. Yeah. So go ahead, and Susan.
So I sat in Sunday school with my eyes to the floor. I would read aloud, but didn't understand the Bible. I didn't think I was smart enough to read it. I gathered some friends together and we read through the whole thing, even Leviticus. Not only did we find our confidence, we found a deeper relationship with Jesus. If you lack the confidence to open your Bible, join me on this journey to find your way to personally connect to the heart of God.
Come on. That's well done. And did I hear the authority piece in there?
The authority piece, well, what I perceived for the
Yeah.
authority piece was that I gathered friends together and we read through the whole thing, including Leviticus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Completely really good. Yeah, that's right. Because you have the authority because you actually read through it. Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying that. Yeah, you're making Leviticus fun. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, can you expand that to 1,000 words? That's the challenge, for introduction. If you kind of take all these pieces and expand it out. Yeah, but that's a great beginning for sure.
Okay, so ultimately that thing will be like 2,000 words. Okay, cool.
I would say about 1,000.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
For introduction. Yeah, different pieces. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think I'm done with mine. So we can go ahead and move on if you want, and we can do some questions and answers a little bit later. But yeah, this is it. So hope you guys have a good time.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. So we could just go into the hot seat, which was Kelly today. Kelly had a few questions. So I'll go ahead and ask the first one and we'll see if we have time for both. Maybe we'll just have time for one. If you feel like you have an answer to this question too, feel free to jump in and give any perspective that you might have or information you might have about these. We all want to help each other out. So, okay. So this first question is self-publishing basically the only possibility if you don't have a platform? Can you only self-publish if you don't have a platform? And the answer that I have is no, that you don't have to self-publish only, and that's not your only choice. However, you do need to, I guess it depends on what we define as platform or how, if you have one, because yes, you do need to have some kind of platform. It's important to have that. That doesn't have to mean that you have 20,000 followers on Twitter or Instagram. Some agents and publishers that I've talked with will say you have to in order to. It also depends on if it's nonfiction or fiction sometimes. It depends on who you're talking with. Sometimes if you go to or approach small publishers, they're generally not going to ask for that big of a platform as much as the competition might be higher or harder to get into a big house company if you have 100 followers versus 10,000 that someone else has. They're going to look at that a little bit more and consider it more. But it doesn't just involve who you have on social media. The big thing that people really are looking for that to get into companies is your newsletter. That's the most important. Where the money is more is being able to have newsletter subscribers, because that is your own domain. It's your own territory. You're able then to talk with those people directly, and they are following you for at least, a portion of them are going to be following you because they're fans and they want to see what you're doing and all of that. So, yeah. Now, self-publishing you still want followers. Otherwise, you don't have anyone to read what you have. So you do need some kind of platform either way. Anything else to add though, Julie or Jesse or anyone?
Yeah, I would note that I have people in my writers group that signed on with very small publishers, traditional but small, with
Yeah.
very little platform. And then we're able to build like that. So I would say without a platform, it's not that you can't target publishing, but you should be targeting the smaller publishers and the ones that are just getting opened, and or self-publishing. And then the question comes in is how much control do you want over it? Because if I had taken my books and gone to a small press, I would still have to be saying, gee, I'd like to implement this marketing plan, or what do you think about offering this book for free? Or, what do you think about this promo? And it would have to go through our marketing team versus me being able to say, having some background on marketing, I'm going to run this promo and I'm going to do it in a week's time. And boom, it worked out really, really well. But Amy is right that you still need a platform in order to sell no matter what. And so it really is now. Now is the time you start working your platform, building your newsletter, getting content out there and building your fan base so that whichever option you choose, you will have the most success at as far as selling your books.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Yeah. And I was just thinking as you were saying that, Julie, it's okay to start now. If you're pre-published, you can start definitely now. You can start with a short story if it's fiction. I know for Kelly, for you're working on fiction. You can start with, some kind of lead magnet, something that's going to bring people to want to read it for free, offering it for free on your website, and then they need to sign up for it.
I was actually thinking about there's a lot of recipes that my character and the family make all the way through the whole book. I was thinking about doing some of those recipes.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's perfect. As you read some of the Amish books in particular, and some of like Debbie McComer's books, and they have that, within it, she'll put a family recipe, and then the reader's like, how do I make this? And so, at the very end of the book, oh, guess what? There's that recipe. So yeah, that's a great idea. A good start with the idea in mind that the reader's probably not going to fall in love with your recipe yet until they read your book, but you might be able to gain some pre-gathering with those. But yeah, if they're not out there already and you've made them up, then absolutely you can gain traffic and newsletter subscribers by doing that.
Kathleen, you had a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you have to have a website before you start sending out a newsletter? I don't know how all that works.
Highly recommended.
Yes.
And I'm not what most people do.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they would be separated, just because what the idea of a lead magnet is so that when people do visit your website, they're able to then click on it and it automatically signs them up for your newsletter when you're using a service such as MailChimp or MailerLite. There's different ones that you can use, but it automatically does that for you. And so, I mean, maybe Julie, but I've never seen it separated where you can, I mean, I guess there's organic ways you could do it where you say, hey, here's my recipe, and you can give it to them by hand and have them hand sign their email address so you can get it. But I don't know.
But the idea is that you need some kind of site, and Susan brought up, you can create a landing page without a website. Well, a landing page is a website. It's a type of website. It's a type of a page. I wouldn't recommend having a landing page just by itself without an about section where they can actually click on and come to learn about you. And so a website is important because they need somewhere to go. They need somewhere to go. You don't want them to just read that newsletter in MailChimp or MailerLite and not have something to pass on and say, oh, I want to learn more about this person. There's nowhere to go. There's no clicks to do. Your newsletter is really your entry, and your summary into the rest of you, and your website is the rest of you. So I consider pretty essential.
Is it separate from a blog then? That's a whole different thing,
No,
right?
a blog can be, you can have a blog that is a website. Absolutely. And I recommend a blog as part of your website, but some people do choose just a blog, but you can still have it, designed in such a way that it looks like a website and about page and all of that. But,
Do
blog
most people
sites
just
are
do
fine.
this themselves, or do you find somebody that is good at it. Or how
A
you
lot of
do it.
people do it for themselves. Jesse and I would have to recommend that you do not do it for yourself.
Yeah,
You need a professional looking website.
yeah,
Go
website
ahead, Jesse,
professional.
sorry.
Yeah, and I think that I think that getting professional websites is good. I wanted to comment a little bit on what Susan said too. There are like for my clients that I help build a mailing list for, there are like other services to go through to kind of have it just be like to have the magnet be delivered even without a website. It's definitely good to have both, but there are other services to use if you don't have one. I do still agree though, having a website and the magnet is important, but don't let like you can still be building a mailing list, and I do that sometimes with people. There are like other services like Book Cave and different, but the funnel and different things that like you can actually use to deliver your magnet. But yeah, it's if that helps a little bit.
But the idea is you want to build fans, right?
Absolutely.
The fans are going to look you up. So if you just, I mean, I use like BookFunnel too to send out free copies of my book all the time, or I have a reader magnet. But they read my book and they're like, who is this person? And they go to Google and they look me up. Hello, I want them to be able to come to, a website to learn more
100%.
about me, because that's part of building your fan base. So
100%.
yeah.
So do you recommend having this all set up then before you even write your book, or do you write your book and then you do this before you try to market it? I mean, it's just also mind-boggling.
It is a lot. You can, it's ultimately up to you. I mean, some people can only do one task at a time, right? So it could be that you are writing your novel, but then you pause it for a month as you're working on your marketing and setting up things, or but I do recommend that you set up things before you have it published, though. That's what people are going to be looking for, what readers are going to be looking for, traditional publishers, everyone's going to want your presence to be there already.
Do some of you have recommendations for people who would help set up a website? Or
Of course.
Julie and Jess.
They're on the call. They're on the call with you right now.
Here at the top of your screen. Yes. Jesse and I both do websites. But there are other platforms that will do your websites as well. But again, a professional really makes a difference, because honestly, it presents you as a professional you are, right? If you make a flyer and it looks homemade and chintzy, people are going to be like, eh. But if you have professional design, it makes a difference. So, I did the Cascade Writers website, cascadechristianwriters.org, if you want to look at a sample of mine. And Jesse, you could throw a sample of yours in the chat as well. Jesse also does sites, but it's worth the investment, because when they look at it, they're like, oh, whoa, this person is cool, and I want to follow this person and find out what they're doing, versus click off because, oh, it won't even load on their mobile phone, right? Those kinds of things are important.
I have a question. Are you able to take stuff from an old site that you have when you're moving to a new site and repurpose the blog content? Is that possible?
Yeah, there's integrations. Okay. Yeah, and there's usually instructions for how to integrate what you have on another website.
And then, but can you, okay.
It depends on your access, Kelly. If you don't have access, we can also often get access through what we call the cPanel, which is going through your host and going in the back end of your website. If you've lost that access, it's a little bit harder, but I have helped people get it back. It's easiest if you have your old site still up and going now, and then absolutely we can just take it all there and go it over, and then get rid of the old site later. That is the easiest, but not always doable. So you'd be surprised how we can hijack websites with your permission when needed.
The other thing to consider too, you guys, is like your name, right? Like there's already somebody else out there with my name as a website. So kind of exploring that piece. How would you guys, I might be hijacking the conversation right now, but
well, you did have the spot for the hot seat, so
easy answer to that is some people put like author at the end. It's not the greatest, but like Kelly Effort's author. And
my answer would be, if you were writing more than just one book, and you plan on writing for your life, then yes, you absolutely need to brand your name. If you are a one project person where you've got this mission on your mind and it's one book and one book only, and you're never going to write anything else, then it's probably better at that point to brand the name of the book and have a website for that. But if writing is your career, you need to brand your name. No matter what your cause is behind it, you can still brand your name, and that's always the best.
Yeah, I think it's better to brand your name. And also there's ways around it. There's an amyearls.art and mine is amyearls.com. But as I've increased my presence with online stuff and have done, Julie was talking about this on Saturday at the conference, but just optimizing and getting things out there that people could search. I've seen my name then come up before this artist, but now I'm at the top there when you search my name. And so the more you have out there, the more links and cross promotion you have going on, then you're going to be able to be noticed. It shouldn't be a problem.
It's important.
Any other last questions before we kind of get to closing this down?
You guys have been great. Let's do a drawing for an Amazon card. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds
Who wants
great.
to win? Yay!
I hope I win.
Sorry, Jesse. You cannot win if you're the speaker. I'm just kidding. So my pin went to the center of the screen, and that would be Clint Fisk, who wins an Amazon card tonight, Clint. So I hope you can use that. Hey, free money, right? So we'll write your name down and we will get that to you for sure. Thanks everybody for coming. I am going to close this out in prayer. And of course, if you have questions, don't hesitate to email us. You know, Jesse and Amy and I are all very available to you, as are other members and staff members and team members of CCW, or put it on the members page. If you have a question, there's a host of wisdom there that you might benefit from. And we're just happy. We're just happy to be able to come share the knowledge and hope it's helpful for you. And, you know, that's our goal, is not advancing our platform, so to speak, but advancing the word of God. Right. And the bigger we build and the more people we bring in, the more those words that God gives all of us gets out to everybody. And that's incredibly exciting if you think about the role that we play in the kingdom. It really is. So, yeah. All right.
You want to say, go ahead.
Yes, Clint. Yep. I can hear you.
I just want to be sure. I've moved in the last 6 months. I'm in Prospect, Oregon now. I don't know what address the CCW has for me.
It'll come to your email address.
I just wanted to give great. I just wanted to give a small testimony. I've been working on this book for 35 years plus, and I've been communicating with a friend of mine that's an atheist from my high school class. And he said, this book made me look at Christianity in a whole new light.
Come on.
It made looking from a terrible, ugly alien, it showed me humanity in a whole new way. And I'm really enjoying your book. And that's one of the first
amazing
that's awesome.
returns I've got since I put my book out on Amazon, and that was a real blessing.
Well, and now I'm going to look it up because I have a few family members and friends myself who could probably use your book. So thank you for sharing. That's awesome, Clint. So you know what, when those words come back and we realize that even if, God uses our words for more than one person, but even if it impacts one person, when that person gets back to you, you're like, oh, thank you, God. Right. And that was a purpose. And that's a wonderful thing, because there is always a ripple effect, right? If it impacts one person, it's going to ripple out, affect more. So thanks for sharing. Okay, let me close this up in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for getting to know these members a little bit more on screen tonight, God. And I wish for more of that. And I just thank you that we all have something to give, that we all have a calling that you call us specifically to, that you have specific words for each of us to give out to the world that come from you, God. They don't come from us, they come from you. And so thank you for validation of that tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to hear the ideas that are percolating in people's minds and what they're going to write. And God, I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of their journey as they work it out, as they figure out those introductions and those elements of things that they need to make a great book, God, that is going to draw people to you and to the message within. So we thank you for this opportunity to all meet together once a month. We thank you for Jesse and his teaching. I always learn from him, and I'm grateful that he is willing to share with us these principles that we can then go back and put into organized place to make our work even better than it was before. God, thank you for the opportunity to hone in on our craft in order to get your words out there for people that need to hear it. I thank you for that, Lord. Give us a blessed week, a blessed month. In your name I pray. Amen.
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 Man.
All righty, y'all. Hope to
Should
see
we
you
share
next month.
about
Right.
who's doing next month? Do you want to share a little bit about next month? What you're doing?
I think that's me.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it
because
is.
that's embarrassing. Yeah, that's not supposed to be me.
My schedule
I'm doing,
shows Amy Earls,
it
vision
does, but
marketing.
We switched
we
it.
switched it out. I couldn't do
Okay.
it so last month. Yeah, so Amy took for me, so we switched.
Oh,
So I
okay.
will be teaching on some ways to sell more of your books, to actually book sell, and whether you are self-published or traditionally they still expect you to sell 5,000 at least of your books, and so these principles are important, and if you're self-published they're even more important. So we're gonna have lots of discussion. It's gonna be lots of fun, and we need 3 hours, but I have to hone it down to 1. So I hope that you can come, and I will see you guys there. And then we'll have spring conference coming up in Salem, right at People's Church. Sue, what's the date on that? March
16th.
Thank you. She's my calendar. I don't know what
Thank
I
you,
would do
Sue.
without
You would
her.
do it.
I have
March
cheat sheets
16th.
all over.
Please
And-
come to Salem, the People's Church. It's going to be a great time of encouragement with Matt Michelatis. I'll get his name right yet. I need to get it right before March. And I introduced him. Matt Michelatis will be joining us as keynote, as well as a bunch of other cool workshops. So hope to see you guys there.
If you like us, tell your friends. If you don't like us, tell your enemies. Either way, we'll win.
Oh
So.
boy. And on that note, Jesse needs to go to bed. He's in Pennsylvania. So he's like,
Yeah.
it's midnight. I'm just
So does
kidding.
this usually meet on a Wednesday? Is
Not
that
always. Next month is
No.
going to be a Monday. Actually, we're trying to switch it up a little bit so everyone
Yeah.
can
okay?
so
Cool.
it'll
And
be
we
it'll
had
be a,
one on a Saturday. We were
Mhm.
trying to see what was best attended and what people needed.
So 11/6,
So-
so next month, right? That's right, Julie.
Right.
November 6th. Yeah.
That's what it shows.
Sue, my calendar. Yes. Yes. 11/6. That'll be a Monday night.
We're trying to switch it up so everyone can make it. So
Okay.
Yeah. And then one after that. So anyway, the variety was on purpose. So if things work for you or don't work for you, feel free to message us and say, hey, Tuesday nights are great, but Thursday nights I can never come. And that kind of helps us have
Yeah.
input on scheduling. So all right. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, I have one thing to say before
one question?
everybody gets off.
All
And
right.
Jesse, this might actually put you in the hot seat for a second. So I
Uh-oh.
took Jesse's class last summer, and there was this moment where he was talking, and I looked out the door or the window that was open, and what I saw was, I think, some sort of miracle, but I tried to justify it in my head, and I tried to sort it out with human reason. But specifically what I saw was like a rainbow tunnel coming from like the parking lot area, like towards us, but the rainbows were coming out towards us, like spinning. And what my
Oh.
head tried to say it was the reflection on the rear view mirror and the sun hitting it. But you guys, his class was later in the day and the sun was in the opposite direction of that
Amazing.
even being able to happen. And the car was pointed towards us. So the mirror wasn't even facing us. But, I don't know what God is doing, but I know that, that's the first, like, I'm surprised I didn't get up, walk out of the room and go check it out. But anyway, there was something that day. So anyway, I just thought I would share that to the group. I've never seen anything like it before, and I haven't seen anything like it since. But, just everybody keep doing your good work.
There's a
That's
story
right.
for that miracles book that Julie's putting together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please send
Oh.
stories. Yes, that would be great.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Totally.
We are gonna
All right.
we're gonna say goodbye, except for you, Sue. Stay on so I can meet with you. But everybody
Yeah.
else, I hope to see you next month. It was good to see you all.
Bye, guys.
All
Go change the
right.
world.
Bye-bye.